Good evening everyone, it's 8th of August 2025 Friday and it's 11:30 p.m. here. In this video I'll be talking about the entoptic phenomena, and I have referred this book Ocular Physiology, Ocular and Visual Physiology, Simons, and yeah, the notes I have got from this book. These are my own handwritten notes which I'm going to read loudly. So first, when we are talking about the entoptic images, entoptic, entoptic or entoptic. So what are these? Its word origin. What I'm going to describe in this video, its origin, the word origin, its definition, different types of it, and how they look, how they're produced, and why they're produced, and if there is any clinical utility of these phenomena. So that I'm going to talk about. First, word origin. Entoptic. Entoptic, entos means within, and optic means, optikos means visual. Okay, so that's the word origin. That's Greek, which has Greek roots from the two words entos and optikos. So definition: entoptic or entopic images, what are these? These are the visual perceptions which are produced and or influenced by the native eye structures. Okay, these are what? These are visual perceptions which are produced or influenced by the native eye structures. Now what are the phosphines? Phosphine is also entoptic phenomenon, and phenomenon means the incident or the happening that can be observed. And phosphine is what? It is a luminous sensation which is caused by the direct retinal stimulation, either because of the mechanical stimulation or electric stimulation. So phosphine is what? Phosphine is a luminous sensation. It is because of the retinal stimulation, whether it's the mechanical pressure because of the retinal tear, retinal detachment, posterior vitreous detachment, like in maculovitreal traction. In that we get the flashes of the light, and it is because of this phosphine, because mechanical stimulation of the retinal ganglionic cells and electrochemical discharge. Because of that, it produces the light sensation which are called as flashes of the lights, and flashes is one of the entoptic phenomenon because it is happening within the eye and it's stimulating the retina, produced and or influenced by the native eye structures. Okay, so the phosphines can be because of the mechanical pressure, mechanical stretching, as retinal detachment, vitreomacular traction, retinal tear, or electric stimulation, certain electroretinography test, or so yeah, electric stimulation you can say. Then yeah, so other entoptic image types are what? Visual noise. And visual noise, there is another word for that, eigengram, eigengram or something, I don't know how to pronounce it. So visual noise first, then think about blue things, blue entoptic phenomenon, then blue arcs of the retina, then Purkinje blue ring, then after that Purkinje figures and Heidinger's brushes. So how many? Two blue things, two Purkinje, one Maxwell, one Heidinger or Heidinger, and visual noise. Okay, so first we'll see what is visual noise. Now visual noise is what? You don't need to look for any YouTube video or picture or anything. Just switch off the light and just close your eyes or switch off the light. You will see it's not a complete darkness. You will see the disorganized motions or disorganized patterns of lightness and darkness, and that is called as visual noise. And why it happens when the light is not there? What's exactly causing this light light sensation there, and disorganized light and dark sensation when we close the eyes or when we just switch off the light into the dark room? Why it is? It is because of the spontaneous retinal neural discharge First is spontaneous retinal neural discharge, and second cause is due to recovery of bleached rhodopsin. Recovery of bleached rhodopsin and spontaneous neural discharge from the retinal ganglionic cells. So visual noise, the type, how it appears, alternate disorganized motions of lightness and darkness, and how it is produced, because complete darkness, and why it is produced, or how, like because of what is the reason that causes this. So there is a spontaneous retinal neuronal discharge and recovery of the bleached rhodopsin, dark adaptation. So blue arcs of the retina, blue entoptic phenomenon that we know, that we have learned so many times. Blue entoptic phenomenon means what? Blue entoptic phenomenon means, suppose if you are looking at a bright light with uniform background, like we look at the sky, open sky, cloudless blue sky, opposite to the sun, it's very bright, and then you will see those floaters, white floaters, like transparent white floaters. These are not actually floaters, but these are the white blood cells. And why we see so? Because that kind of intensity of the light against a uniform background, what it does, it makes these blood cell images, white blood cell images, very prominent in the visual field, and they move because the blood cells in the blood vessels, these are moving, right? So what happens normally, the blood has the plasma and the red blood cells and white blood cells. So when the light passes, normal light passes, even though there should be uniform or partially polarized light that's causing it, that should give that sensation, it should cause that thing. So it's not polarized. Normal light usually not polarized, and the background is not uniform. Most of the light rays are absorbed and reflected by the red blood cells. They don't reach through them onto the retina to stimulate photoreceptors. The blood cells, white blood cells, however, when it is partially polarized or polarized light against a uniform background, so that polarized light means what? Suppose this is light. Non-polarized light means these are the light waves, okay, of different wavelengths. Suppose white light, different wavelengths light waves, or any even it is similar wavelength white light, like similar wavelength light, electromagnetic wave from different directions. So this is the this is the plane, it's like this, then this is the plane, this is the plane, this is the plane, it's going like this and incident and reaching the retina. Then this is one plane, this is second plane, this is third plane, like this, different planes, like this is going, like this is going, this is going, this is going, this is going. Then again these light waves, like these horizontal vertical light waves, they are so if the light is consisting of these waves vibrating and traveling through different planes, plane of vibration is different, this like this, and reaching the retina. So in that situation, usually it doesn't happen. When it is partially polarized, or polarized means it vibrates only in one plane, like this horizontal plane, okay. This is this horizontal plane, okay, or this vertical plane, or this plane like this, or this plane like this, okay. When it is polarized, any one of the directions which I have shown. So any one direction, when the light travels or vibrates in one direction, in one plane, it is called as polarized light. Partially polarized means some waves are traveling in certain direction, definite direction, and some waves are traveling through different directions, different planes direction. Same here. Okay, so where I was talking about the blue entoptic phenomenon. So these light waves, they pass through the WBCs because they allow the light to pass through them. Unlike red blood cells, when they pass through them and they form the image on the retina, especially in case of the bright light against the uniform background, they give this sensation. They are projected in the visual field as white floaters. So these are not white floaters but actually WBCs, and they have this black tail, and it is because of the red blood cells that is not allowing the light to pass through them. So you see this thing, that is the blue entoptic phenomenon. So another so what's the use of this blue entoptic phenomenon? How it is produced? It is produced by looking at the sky or uniform background. Okay, blue sky or uniform background in bright light, and it is due to the light, preferably blue light, passing through the leukocytes. Leukocytes travel through the retinal blood vessels. And how it is seen as flying spots or floaters, almost translucent floaters, and against uniform light background, especially blue, preferably blue background, and follow fixed sinusoidal path, and not present at foveal avascular zone. Obviously, because foveal avascular zone, it is avascular, so you won't get these floaters in the foveal avascular zone. So central field of vision, in the visual field, won't be having these WBCs. Okay, so what's the clinical utility of blue entoptic phenomenon is that it can be used, the description of the flying spots or these floaters can be used to evaluate the abnormalities of the retinal blood flow. Now this was the one blue field entoptic phenomenon. And other blue thing, what is other blue thing? Blue arcs of the retina. What is the blue arcs of the retina? Okay, what is blue arc of retina? How it is produced? Actually, blue arc, first I'll tell you how it looks. It looks like blue arcs that are starting from the fovea or lying over and under the fovea and following the trajectory of the retinal nerve fiber layers running towards the blind spot. Obviously, because these are electric leakages or electric current leakage from unmyelinated ganglionic cells into the neighboring cells of unknown type, especially along the retinal nerve fiber layer. So that's why we see like it's as if it is above and over and above and below the fovea running towards the blind spot. So these are the blue arcs. And how these are produced. Method to produce this blue arc phenomenon is in dark adopted state, means the patient should be in dark room for around 10 to 20 minutes, and in dark adopted state stimulate the area nasal to the fovea. So here, this nasal part you stimulate nasal to the fovea with a small dim light here. Then what will happen? You will see these blue arcs running over and below the fovea, following the trajectory of the retinal nerve fiber layers and proceeding towards the blind spot, this optic disc. So that is the blue arc of retina, how it is produced in the dark adopted state, dim light stimulating the retina nasal to the fovea. Then that was about the blue entoptic first done, then first visual noise done, blue entoptic phenomenon done, blue arcs of the retina done. Then Purkinje, another blue thing is there, and there are two Purkinjes and three blue. Now Purkinje or Purkinje blue ring. Purkinje blue ring is what? It is a transient blue ring phosphenes opposite to the side of the pressure or deformation. It is because of a mechanical pressure on the globe. Means you can see this. Close your eye and then apply pressure over this. You will see the blue thing here. You will see the blue ring here. Yeah, I can see this here. I can see the half circle. Yeah, I can see the blue ring also. You will see the blue ring on the opposite side of the deformation or the pressure here. I'm applying the pressure with my, yeah, open eyes, even closed eyes. Open eyes, it's more, visible. If you are applying pressure here, you will see that white, blue, yellowish ring here I'm seeing with central darkness. Yeah, that I can see, and that is Purkinje blue ring, and it is because of mechanical stimulation of the retina. Phosphine, it is a type of phosphine. So these flashes are a type of phosphine, and this Purkinje blue ring is a type of phosphine. Now you can see phosphine physiological and pathological. Pathological is flashes of light because of the retinal tear, vitreomacular traction, posterior vitreous detachment, that is VMT, vitreomacular traction, retinal tear and retinal detachment. Now Purkinje blue ring done. Now Purkinje figures. Purkinje blue ring is different. Actually it was not looking as blue. To me I saw it as white one, and the center one was like at center darkness was there, and the periphery was the white line, which I saw it here. Now Purkinje fibers, Purkinje tree. Now what is Purkinje? Now Purkinje blue ring is different, and Purkinje tree or Purkinje figure is different. Purkinje figure, it is because of the blood vessels overlying the photoreceptors. Now what happens? Normally the image is projected in the visual field, but what happens because of the Troxler's phenomenon, and because the image formed, or the location of the blood vessels location, it is fixed in the eye. So brain, what it does, it ignores this blood vessel image projected in the visual field. It learns to ignore this image to have better visual clarity of the outside world without interference from the inside. And this Purkinje tree is nothing but the silhouette of these Purkinje silhouette of these blood vessels in the visual field. And it happens when the bright light is shown to the eye, especially from the oblique side, because the shift of image occurs. That is not, the brain is not very trained. I have seen that thing, how it looks like that tree, branching tree pattern. These lights means luminous sensation, branching tree pattern against the yellow orange background. Means I have seen that light, so much light is shown to my eye, or when I'm just checking the patient, and when I close my eyes, then I see that Purkinje tree or Purkinje figure. So what is this? How it is produced? When oblique bright light is shown to the patient through the pupil, retinal blood vessels silhouette. What is silhouette? I think SILLHOUTTE. Silhouette. Silhouette. Its pronunciation is silhouette. Yeah. So what is that? Silhouette means it is a dark, shadowy figure, whether it's humanoid, non-humanoid, okay, animate, inanimate, shadow against a little dimly lit environment, like evening. You'll see the evening photographs. You will see your own silhouette. It looks beautiful. Even silhouette of photos, or even in real life, silhouette of trees, and a beautiful girl, boy with a beautiful figure. It looks very nice. It's very aesthetic, and that's why painters, even photographs are taken with these silhouette phenomenon. Yeah. So Purkinje figures are nothing but the Purkinje. These are the blood vessels, silhouettes of the blood vessels in the retina. and these are projected in the visual field, but as their location is fixed, the brain learns to ignore that image to have the better clarity of the outside world without casting shadows from its own internal structures in the visual field. Okay, so how it looks: branching shadow of retinal vasculature against yellow orange background. Perfect. Rapidly degrades. In photograph it is gray, but it is not gray. The background is yellowish orange. This is what I have myself experienced. So branching shadow of retinal vasculature against the yellow orange background rapidly degrades on shift in light source. So when the light source is shifted, okay, light source is shifted, and we are focusing on the light thing, and its periphery, it starts there is a rapid degradation of the periphery, and it's because of the chalkless phenomenon. Now, what is chalkless phenomenon? It's one of the visual adaptation where the periphery or the things, the fixed locations are ignored by the brain. So we don't see them, though they are present in the world outside or inside. There are the structures casting, projecting the shadow or projecting the image in the visual field, but they disappear because our focus is on a certain object, and the periphery, without blinking, if you just keep on staring at that one fixed point, the periphery that is at fixed location and not moving, it starts disappearing like a ghost. Like, actually, I have the video of it. It's a beautiful video. At the end of this video, I'm going to share the chalkless phenomenon and even some videos of the entoptic phenomena. You can see these videos. These are very interesting. It will lengthen my video, but it's all worth watching, and it's like a magic. Optics is magic only. Nothing is magic. It's all they follow the laws and rules, and nothing is mystical. It's just we are not aware of these things, and when we find something new, we find it as if it's like a magic. And when it just happens every day, we don't feel like it's a magic, like rising sun, setting sun. It's all magic, like blooming of flowers, the fruits, and the air. Everything is magic, but we don't feel like it. The child feels like it's all magic because it's new. It's not like it's something new for the child, kid, toddler. So, chalkless phenomenon. In this book, what is chalkless phenomenon? It is one of the visual field adaptation, one of the local retinal visual adaptation process describing the influence of ambient light on global retinal sensitivity. Chalkless phenomenon. When light is shown onto the retina, what happens? It is a time-dependent form of local retinal adaptation. Time-dependent, yeah, because we should stare at central point for certain time for the peripheral static objects to disappear. So it is a time-dependent form of local retinal adaptation. It describes perceptual fading of static contrasting border over time, most apparent in peripheral retina where receptive fields are larger. Image fading is prevented by microsaccades.
Focus on a central point amid circles. If you do this for about 10 seconds, the peripheral circles seem to vanish. This demonstrates that our visual system ignores unchanging stimuli.
Neural control of eye movement, the chapter is given here. So what happens? Purkinje, how the Purkinje figures are, we don't see. Why we don't see is given. It's because of the chalkless phenomenon. Because when they fall in these are static, and when we are focusing on a thing in the outside world, the peripheral parts, they disappear, and it happens even when we are looking at our own self without blinking for a minute or more than a minute. Then there is disfigurement of our own face. We just keep on looking at our own eyes, and rest of the body, it seems like it is disfigured or something. But you'll have to, without blinking, you have to stare it for a minute or more than that. The best examples I have given here at the end of this video. What is Troxel's phenomenon and Purkinje images? Purkinje, why we don't see these Purkinje images? It's because these are ignored. The brain learns to ignore because their location is fixed. Their location is fixed and they lie before the photoreceptors, and we should see them in the visual field, but we don't see them. It is because of this Troxel's phenomenon, because we want to focus on the what? The object in the outside world. That's more important for us to live, and that's why these peripheral retinal blood vessels, the brain learns to ignore them. So yeah, it's a time dependent phenomenon. Now another thing is Maxwell spot. What is Maxwell spot? It is a transient central circular dark pattern seen based under blue light. Yeah, as the light flickers and rotates, it will also rotate, but usually it doesn't rotate. In cyanotophore, when we want to stimulate the macula, as it is as this yellow hourglass figure, it is projected in the central visual field. It's what? It is because in fovea there is a xanthophyll pigment. It has got dichroism. Dichroism means splitting the light into two different colors. So it has two different colors. It reflects two different colors. It passes. It also, when the light passes through it, it divides it into two or three different colors. Two means dichroism, and another definition is it's one of the planes. It it absorbs and it allows, as the wave passes through the dichroism material, means here xanthophyllic pigment, as it passes through its thickness, it absorbs the light wavelength and it changes its color, or it changes its it absorbs particular light wave, it converts it into polarized light. For example, horizontal plane wavelengths it will cancel, and only vertical it will allow, and that is also one of the ways the polarized glasses are used. What are these polarized glasses? They block the horizontal waves or horizontal polarized waves. They block and they prevent the glare, and allowing only vertical waves, especially the glass reflection, window reflection, even the reflection partially polarized or completely polarized light, especially snow area and sky, uniform area sky, and glass, water. The light is partially polarized, and then when such light it reaches our eye, it causes glare, and when we neutralize or cancel these horizontal waves, allowing only vertical waves to pass, vertical waves through the vertical plane to pass through the eye, then it reduces the glare, and also it improves the depth of the perception. So if we wear the polarized glasses, we can see through the water, and if you don't use the polarized glasses, we cannot see through the water because of the reflection of the light. It's very severe. It's because it's polarized, partially polarized. And polarization means converting the non-polarized light, that is the light wave consisting of the waves traveling in different directions, into the light waves traveling in same direction, that is polarized. And partially polarized means some are in the same direction, more than half of in the same direction and half in the other direction, different direction. So this xanthophylls has this dichroism and also birefringes. Birefringes means splitting the light waves into two beams traveling in two different directions. So that is birefringes. Here the wavelength doesn't change. In plain polarized light, the wavelength can change. In birefringence, usually the wavelength remains the same. So Heidinger's brushes, this hourglass figure, what happens? There are xanthophyll pigments at the macula. So this is the logic. What is the logic? These xanthophyll pigments, what it will do? These pigments will reflect the yellow light, and absorb the blue light. So what's remaining? Red light and green light. So red light and green light will stimulate the red cones and the blue cones, and what will happen? It will produce this yellow sensation, and the background is blue. So these are the Heidinger's there are Heidinger's brushes light, which can be put in the tube slot, eye slot, eyepiece slot in the synaptor 4, and we can stimulate the macula. And what they do, they use the polarized light and use this blue filter, and this polarized light is rotated and it is flickered to produce this yellow hourglass figure. As the polarized light is rotating, this yellow glass figure will also rotate around its around its fixation point. And why it happens? It is because of this xanthophyll pigment at the fovea and stimulation of the green and red light, creating that yellow sensation. And also in some books it is given that xanthophyll pigment acts as a yellow filter, but I don't think if it is yellow it should reflect the yellow light, right? So using Heringer brushes, it slides with the synaptor 4. It is used to stimulate the macula in amblyopia, that is the lazy eye, and eccentric fixations also, which can be reversed at the stage of the reversal. You can just, because even suppression scotoma at certain stages it can be reversed, even eccentric fixation can be reversed, amblyopia same thing, it can be reversed. And macular degeneration in macular edema, where macula is not working properly, so we need to stimulate it to function properly or to boost its performance. We use this Heidinger's brush exercises using this Heidinger's slides and plain polarized light using the blue filter. So you will see the yellow hourglass figure, and as the polarized light is rotating, this yellow hourglass figure in the visual field will also rotate around the fixation axis, because it is from the fovea, center 1 to 3 degree visual field. So that's the use of the Heringer's brushes. And another entoptic phenomena are media opacities, colored halos coming from the cornea, media opacities like floaters, which is floaters and all. And there are so many videos, and I'm going to share the links of these videos, which are very interesting. You definitely go through them. Some I'm going to add here with this video, but some you must watch because they're worth watching. Some videos I'm going to add here, some videos I'm going to recommend in my description box, sharing their links, and definitely go through them. It's like you are seeing and watching magic, and it's really interesting. It makes it really interesting, and it makes you remember things for a longer time. So that was all about the entoptic images. Quick revision: entoptic images, Greek word. Entos means within, optikos means visual. So these two words, entos and optikos, meaning within and visual. Now definition is what? Visual perceptions and produced and influenced by the native structures of the eye. Then what are the types? Types are pressure phosphines, which can be physiological, pathological. Physiological means this Purkinje blue ring. On pressure you will see, on the other side you will see this blue ring. Actually it's a white ring that you see, and whatever I say, with open eyes you see it better than the closed eye. You'll see with both eyes, like closed and open eye. And then pathological phosphines is what? These flashes because of the retinal tear, which show macular traction and retinal detachment. So that was about the phosphine, which can be mechanical and electrical. Now other entoptic images, visual noise, that is the darkness, and happens or movement of the lightness and darkness in the darkness. There is no complete darkness. Then blue arcs of the retina. Blue arcs of the retina, these are the blue arcs from the fovea running towards the blind spot. These are nothing but retinal nerve fiber layers because of the discharge of the retinal ganglionic cells, which are unmyelinated on stimulation of the nasal fovea in dim light, in dark erupted state. Now Blue entoptic phenomenon means these WBCs, floaters, blue background especially. And after that, Purkinje blue ring I just mentioned. On pressure you will see the blue ring on the opposite side, and that is Purkinje blue ring. With open eyes it's more evident. You just compare with open eyes and closed eyes. With open eyes it's very, obvious in my visual field. So after that you will see the Purkinje figures. These are nothing but the blood vessel silhouettes, and normally these are suppressed, and one of the reasons for its suppression is visual adaptation known as Chokles phenomenon, where peripheral images are ignored after a certain time. It is a time dependent visual adoption. And then Maxwell spot means what? Maxwell spot, it happens in the central visual field, and it is because when we use the yellow and blue flickering lights alternatively, the yellow and blue light is absorbed, yellow light is reflected back. So what will happen? It will just nothing will reach to stimulate the photoreceptors, and what will happen? You will see the darkness at the central visual field, projected in the central visual field, and that is the Maxwell spot. Obviously, clinical anatomy, I think it's like for eccentric fixation. In eccentric fixation, this spot will be in strabismus. It will be projected in different direction. Hedinger's brushes, yellow hourglass figure rotating in the visual axis when we are using it with cyanopter-4 with polarized light and blue filter. But usually when we look at the uniform background and bright light, you will see what when it's a partially or polarized light and uniform background and eye stimulated with this partially polarized light, you will see this yellow hourglass figure, static. Okay, and it is because of what? It is because the yellow light is reflected, blue light is absorbed, but red and green are reaching to the what? Photoreceptors, because high wavelength is red one and xanthophyll is yellow. So what will yellow and green red and green combination? It becomes yellow. So this is why you will see the yellow hourglass figure. This is my own logic. Other things are other theories are this blue cone receptor orientation, xanthophyll pigment orientation, and even retinal nerve fiber. There are different theories, but this is the best thing which I feel to explain this phenomenon in my own language using my own brain. It's not given in the book like this red and green. This is just my own logic I'm using. Yeah, so if you want to know and if you want the proper text, you can just get this book, soft copy or hard copy as you wish. It's the Ocular and Visual Physiology by Salmon. Yeah, you can get this book, Springer I think publication. So it's a nice book, like so many things, so many entoptic phenomena I didn't know. I knew Purkinje, I knew blue entoptic and Heidinger and phosphines. I only knew these things. There's so many others here. This Purkinje blue ring, blue arc, and Maxwell effect, Maxwell spot, I didn't know. So many things I came to know. And Chokles phenomenon also I didn't know, like I didn't read it because it was not given in the Khurana or even Optics Elkington, so I didn't know these things. Now I know, so I'm very happy when I read something and I get to know something new. I feel very happy, and I feel happier when I share it with you all here, because my aim is to increase my own knowledge. These videos will be beneficial for me in the future. Rather than going through the books, I can just watch my own videos. Also, if you are watching this video or these videos on different topics, I just hope these are stimulating you or inspiring you to read standard books, because no video can substitute a standard book. You should read standard books on your own. So that's the stimulus. It's not a substitute to read the standard books. And so many people don't know the standard book names, because you know, the best student comes from what? Best student comes from his or her own intellect, skill, sensory motor coordination, integration, higher intelligence, wisdom, insight, morality, hard work, persistence, consistent work, discipline, and second thing, main thing, teacher, the guide should be excellent. If the guide doesn't know, if the teacher doesn't know which books to, tell you this Troxel's phenomenon, this book nobody suggested me, like nobody recommended me in this salmon book, and I just went through the internet and I searched which standard books the ophthalmologist must read in his or her life. So there was a list of various things. I just went for anatomy, physiology, strabismus. Then I came to know so many names, and I got some soft copies. Some soft copies unfortunately I didn't get, and these are very expensive, so I cannot read these books, and I feel very sad and bad because these are like 15,000, 20,000, 4,000, 6,000 rupees book. So I'm just waiting that the soft copy will be available in future for free, so I can read them and I can make so many things, like every book, every standard book I'm talking about, not the notes or handbooks, I'm not talking about those. Every standard book of different author, written by different authors, there is something new in that chapter, like this Troxel's phenomenon and different entoptic phenomenon. I was really glad. I felt I just couldn't stop myself sharing these things with you. So you go through these and you go through the videos and the pictures I'm going to share at the end of this video. You definitely go through them, then only you will realize what are these, and it's very interesting, and it will help you remember and understand things in a better way. So bye, good night. So what happens, how to produce this Maxwell spot? Diffuse light of alternating yellow and blue flicker. There is absorption of this blue light and reflection of the yellow light because of the xanthophyll pigment. Xanthophyll pigment, what it does, it has dichroism, means absorption of the light at various levels when it passes through its thickness. So xanthophyll pigment is very much present. It is concentrated in the fovea zone, macular zone. So there is what it does, this xanthophyll, it absorbs the blue light, okay, and it reflects the yellow light, and it sometimes acts as a yellow filter also, and that also forms the basis of this Heidinger or Hedinger brushes. And in this Maxwell spot, what happens, if we just show the patient a diffuse light which is alternating alternating between the yellow and blue flicker light. So what we see the central darkness. Why? Because yellow is reflected and blue is absorbed, and it is not allowed to reach to the retina in the central area because of the xanthophyll pigment, and rest of the retina can just absorb the light because xanthophyll pigment is not present there. So what happens, this Maxwell spot is seen in the central field, in the visual field, in the central area of the visual field, because it is projected from the fovea where the xanthophyll pigments are. They are reflecting the yellow light because they are yellow in color, means they are reflecting the yellow light, and the blue color, they don't allow the blue color to reach to the photoreceptor by absorbing it. It absorbs it, the xanthophyll pigment. Now, so that's the Maxwell spot, how it looks. There is central darkness, and depending upon where it is present, you can see whether it's present at center or at periphery. According to that, you can say that it is eccentric fixation or not. It's not given in this book, but this is what I think it should be the clinical application. You can use it to diagnose eccentric fixation. Now, Hedinger's brushes, HAIDINGER''S, Hedinger's brushes. What are these? Hedinger's brushes. In visual field, what we see in the central visual field, we see the yellow hourglass figure that's rotating around the fixation axis against the usually uniform background or mostly blue background, preferably or especially blue background. So how it is produced and what's its significance? So Headinger's brush is polarized light. Polarized means the light which is traveling in only one plane or vibrating only in one plane. Suppose it is like vibrating like this. What is this plane? This. Its plane is this vertical. Now this light is vibrating like this. What is this plane? This plane is horizontal. Okay, like this. This plane is horizontal. Now how it's like this. So this plane is like this, oblique. Okay, and this is the surface where it's incident. Okay, or this is the retina. This is the retina where it is incident, like that. So when it is traveling from different light wave consists of various waves traveling in different directions, maybe of same wavelength or different wavelength. That's not the thing to define the polarized light. Polarized light means it can be of any color, mixed wavelengths, similar wavelengths, but if they are traveling in different direction or different planes, it is called as unpolarized light and non-polarized light. And polarized light means whether it's of this wavelength or that wavelength, this color or that color, but if it is vibrating in the same plane, in the same direction, then it is called as polarized light. So we use the polarized light to produce the Headinger's brushes in the visual field, and usually we see it again the bright light, blue sky. Against that we can see this yellow hourglass figure against this blue background. Okay, and
Have you ever stared at a point and noticed your surroundings fading away? It's not magic, but a phenomenon known as the Troxler effect. Discovered in 1804 by Swiss physician Ignaz Troxler, it's a fascinating aspect of our vision. Let's delve into this curious aspect of human perception. Before we jump in, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. It's crucial for us and beneficial for you to stay updated with life-changing insights. Focus on a central point amid circles. If you do this for about 10 seconds, the peripheral circles seem to vanish. This demonstrates that our visual system ignores unchanging stimuli. But why don't static objects in your kitchen or office disappear the same way? The answer lies in the intricate design of our visual system. Most objects have sharp edges and angles, easier for our eyes to latch onto than monotonous circles. But there's a deeper reason. Your eyes are constantly moving, even when you're not aware of it. Take a closer look at a friend's eyes. You'll see their eyeballs making quick jumps every few seconds. These micro movements are crucial. They refresh the image on your retina, keeping your visual reality constantly changing. Why is this necessary? A fixed image on the retina would eventually become invisible. To illustrate, try this with contact lenses. Draw a tiny mark on one and wear it. Initially visible, the mark soon fades away. This underscores a fundamental truth. Our brain is attuned to change. In the absence of contact lenses, there's another example. The network of blood vessels in your eye should theoretically overlay everything you see. Yet, you don't perceive it. Like the mark on the lens, these vessels are fixed relative to your retina and thus disappear. Now apply this concept to life. Just as our eyes seek change to perceive reality, our minds need stimulation and variation to grow. Embrace change and new experiences. They're not just refreshing, they're essential for our mental and perceptual health. In conclusion, the Troxler effect is more than an optical illusion. It's a reminder of our brain's remarkable ability to filter and focus. It teaches us the value of change and adaptation, both visually and in life. Keep exploring, keep changing, and stay amazed at the wonders of human perception.
How is the Troxler effect applicable to mirrors? The Troxler effect affects mirrors by creating an illusion of a strange face in the mirror. When you stare at a mirror in dim light for a very long time, you begin to see illusions of strange faces or distorted faces that look nowhere similar to yours. When you stare at your reflection in the mirror and you focus on your eyes, the Troxler effect sets. You might find that parts of your face begin to disappear or blend. In most cases, what happens is that the brain is focusing on the eyes alone. All other parts of the face, which are now in peripheral vision, will begin to fade away. Because of the Troxler effect, the brain gives the illusion of your face morphing or distorting into strange and monstrous images. For more information, visit our site.
And the onset of rainbow halos, EPA media. Diffractive cause, EPA media. Diffractive cause. 1. Physiological cause, ciliary corona, lenticular halo. 2. Pathological cause, corneal halo. EPA media. Different structure inside the eye cause diffraction when light bend from their edges. The result is a decline in the contrast of the image and the onset of rainbow halos. The size of the perceived halos depends on the distance from the structure, of which the light is diffracted, to the retina. The closer it is to the retina, the smaller the halo will be. These phenomena can occur in normal eye, physiological, and also in pathologic conditions. EPA media. Pathological phenomena include corneal halo. Corneal halo occurs because of corneal edema, causing light scattering in all directions. When viewing white light, a white central circle can be perceived, surrounded by multicolored rings. Physiological phenomena include the ciliary corona and lenticular halo. EPA media. Ciliary corona occur when watching a singular illuminated object, the dark, e.g., a street lamp. The illumination source is surrounded by a halo with slightly colored needles. This is the result of the light reflecting from numerous tiny particles, proteins, in the lens nucleus, and the tiny irregularities in the structure of other ocular parts, deposits on the corneal endothelial cells, the cells in the anterior chamber, and the anterior lens capsule. Lenticular halo may occur when the pupil is dilated in a dim area. A ribbon of color around the illumination source will appear. It is caused by light bouncing from the zonular and anterior parts of the lens. Entoptic phenomena vascular. Under normal conditions, retinal vessels are not visible because of neuron adaptation. The entoptic view of the retinal vessels has many characteristics of an after image. It remains visible after the intermittent short stimulus has stopped. This include Purkinje tree and blue field. EP vascular. The Purkinje tree retinal vessels image. If we shine a light into the eye from an unusual angle, the shadows of the vessels will cast on the retina. This allows patients to briefly see the retinal vascular image. Patients being examined by a biomicroscope often notice the retinal vascular image. It can be seen by shining a bright, moving light like a penlight onto the sclera, the white of the eye, in a darkened room. The shadows cast by the retinal vessels remain in fixed position, even during eye movements, because of the after image. EP vascular. The blue field phenomenon, Shearer's phenomenon. The blue sky sprites are tiny bright dots moving quickly along squiggly lines in the visual field, especially when looking into bright blue light, such as the sky. The dots themselves are the result of white blood cells moving along the capillaries in front of the retina. The dots themselves are small and white, and they appear slightly elongated with dark tails, which are red blood cells. Spherical white blood cell is too wide for the capillary, and red blood cells get backed up behind them, creating the appearance of a white dot with a tail. EP vascular. The blue field phenomenon, Shearer's phenomenon. Blue light is absorbed by the red blood cells, which fill the capillaries. And the white blood cells, which are much less than the red ones and do not absorb blue light, but allowed to pass to the retina making gaps, appear as the spots. The dots appear in the central field of view, within 10 to 15 degrees from the fixation point. The dots will not appear at the very center of the visual field, because there are no blood vessels in the foveal avascular zone. EP vascular. The blue field phenomenon, Shearer's phenomenon, can be distinguished from visual snow because it appears only when looking into bright light, whereas visual snow is constantly present in all light conditions, including the dark. Visual snow syndrome (VSS-E) is an uncommon neurological condition that causes the patient to see persistent flickering white, black, transparent, or colored dots across the whole visual field. It has no cure and treatment yet. Entoptic phenomena, central vision. The center of the retina is the macula, and the center of eye is the fovea, macula lutea yellow spot, which is responsible for central vision. It's the point at which visual acuity is at its highest. In the fovea, there are no rods, only cones, and there is no blood vessels, avascular. Central vision phenomena is due to the absorption of blue light by a yellow pigment in the macula called xanthophyll, which acts as yellow filter. It include Haydinger's brushes and Maxwell's spot phenomena. EP central vision. Haydinger's brushes phenomenon. A pale interlinked blue and yellow bar or bow tie shape, visible in the center of the visual field against the blue sky viewed while facing away from the sun, or on any bright background due to light polarization. Central vision phenomena is due to the absorption of blue polarized light as a result of dichroic xanthophyll pigment. The direction of light polarization is perpendicular to the yellow bar, i.e., vertical if the bar is horizontal. Haydinger's brush is formed only on the macula and centered on the fovea, so we can use it to measure eccentric fixation and detect any macular problem early.